In this information, I'm going to go over different types of skeletal muscle fibers. So 3 types of skeletal muscle fibers are type 1, type 2A, and type 2X. The type 2X are sometimes called the type 2B depending on the author or organization the literature is from. The purposes of informational, I'm going to use the type 2X fibers. So for the different fibers work in a different capacities depending on the activity or action you're performing. So these 3 types of fibers work differently to utilize the energy systems. The type 1 fibers are aerobic in nature, are considered slow twitch. These are endurance fibers or slow contractions that take more effort to fatigue these fibers. So the type 2A fibers are fast twitch. So they're part of the anaerobic system and entail a faster contraction speed. So they need to be trained and maintained for fatigue resistance, just like anything else that we do. And the type 2A fibers, the main fuel source is glycogen. So the type 2X fibers are also fast twitch and part of the anaerobic system, but most of their power and speed is derived from the energy source from ATP or PCR, and they burn out like rather quickly. The type 1 fiber shown on the left is darker in color because of the higher mitochondria content. These fibers need oxygen to produce ATP, or the energy, and the mitochondria, and have a longer time frame that the muscle will get fatigued. The type 2A fibers and type 2X fibers have less mitochondria and cannot sustain the workload for as long, but more of the strength and power is derived from these 2 fibers. Various training methods use the fibers in different ways. Type 1 fibers have a lower rate of muscle recruitment and are better used for lower resistances and increased amount of repetitions. Generally, this would be considered a long, slow duration run-in or a high repetition bodyweight exercise is what this category would fall into. So you would train these fibers for longer durations, increasing the amount of sets or reps with an exercise, or even time frame for the long, slow duration of running. The type 2A fibers have a faster rate of muscle recruitment than the type 1. These fibers generally get bigger from repetition range of 8 to 12 or middle distance running event like 400 meters. The type 2X fibers are recruited at the fastest rate and become quickly fatigued. These fibers are where your power and strength mainly come from and only utilize the ATP, PCR, or phosphocreatine system as their primary energy source. So this is like a little chart that I'm making for progressive resistance type 1 fiber. Just for an example, let's use your body weight. So you can also substitute for a lighter weight with a higher repetition range also. As previously mentioned, these fibers are for endurance. So like let's say if you wanted to go and have your body weight, let's say you're doing 2 sets of 12 reps for the first one, week 1, day 1. You can do this for push-ups. As progressive resistance entails, increase on day 2, the same amount of sets, increase the reps slightly for your body weight. And as time goes on, the very next week after that, you maintain a higher set range and the reps go and stay the same. So you increase your amount of volume and the amount of repetitions that you do overall. An example for progressive resistance of type 2A fibers. These fibers are more preferential to strength and hypertrophy. So as it goes for the rep range, you can end up doing 3 sets of 8. I just put an arbitrary weight of 135 pounds. The next time that you end up having it, the same type of exercise, 3 sets of 10 reps, and slightly increase it for the hypertrophy and strength at a 135. And as you see, as time goes on for the second week, I increase the set range and rep range for the exercise and also increase in the load to another 5 pounds. And this is a progressive resistance example for type 2X fibers. The sets are generally about the same. You can end up increasing them or decreasing them depending on the load that you have for yourself. But you notice the rep range is a lot lower and the weight is significantly higher. So if you end up going and wanting to train like 1 RM on like a back squat or a bench press or deadlift, you use more of this method than one of the other ones if you wanted to go and increase the power and strength more so for yourself. So depending on your goal, other types of training would be preferential in helping you reach that goal. So speed and power and strength are generally geared toward type 2 fibers. Endurance, long, slow duration, low effort activities for training are more for type 1 fibers. The different type of training methods can be used for resistance training or movement-based workouts. Methods like interval training, plyometrics, circuit training, and sprints can help you with the type 2 fibers as well. Thank you for watching.